If you're anything like me, then you love movies, especially movies that are well made. Now, there are different aspects within film that intrigue us to go to the theater, be it big budget action scenes, a well developed story, or really clever dialogue. For me personally, it has to be the development of the characters within the story. Which is why I was completely blown away when Edgar Wright's new masterpiece, Baby Driver, screeched into theaters. Now, this isn't a video to tell you whether you should or shouldn't see Baby Driver. That is ultimately up to you. This is a deep character analysis about one of the characters within said film. And if you couldn't already tell, this video is going to be filled to the brim with spoilers for Baby Driver. So if you haven't seen the film and you don't want anything ruined for you, I highly recommend turning the video off now. For everybody else, let's get started. Honestly, every character within this film deserves their own video and their own day in the sun, but the character who has blown me away the most and made me think the most in my two viewings of Baby Driver is Buddy, played by Jon Hamm. He's not only my favorite character in the film, but in my personal opinion, I believe he is a certain personification of what Baby could have been. And I know a few of you are going to say, but wait, Buddy's the bad guy. There's only a couple of things that tie him and Baby together. How does this make any sense? And for that, we need to go back to the idea of what a bad guy and what a good guy actually is. Because after watching Baby Driver twice, the traditional sense of what a good guy is and what a bad guy is does not really apply here. To start out, the relationship between Buddy and Baby is not like the relationship between Batman and the Joker or Superman and Lex Luthor. It's not black and white. In fact, it's very gray. In fact, up until about the second into the third act of this film, Buddy acts like a very kind, very understanding uncle to Baby. And even when Baby is planning to pick up Deborah at 2 o'clock in the morning and Buddy stops him, does he turn him in the dock? No. Does he put a gun against his head? No. Buddy simply says that if driving is simply a game to Baby, if it's not something that Baby feels like he's worth fighting for, then he should just get out. And I believe because of the respect that Buddy has in some sense towards Baby, that if Bats had never showed up and gotten inside the car with Baby, Buddy would have let Baby drive off. So with that in mind, let's go back to our terms of heroes and villains and toss them out the window for a second and replace them with the words protagonist and antagonist. The people that we're with right from the beginning and the people who get in the way and who we're against. If we look at this overall story, it really isn't Buddy who gets in the way of Baby. It is Bats who not only gets in the way of Baby, but disagrees with Buddy, disagrees with Doc, disagrees with Baby, and their whole way of doing things. There is even a point where Buddy's wife Darling convinces him to kill Bats after their current mission is over. But even at this point, it never really sunk in how similar Buddy and Baby truly are. So let's talk about that for a sec. Starting off with the little things, we know that Buddy and Baby are both madly in love with people. Buddy with Darling, and Baby with Deborah. We'll talk more about that in a sec, but the next similarity is that they are both thrill seekers. They both love being behind the wheel. They both love driving. One of my favorite conversations in this movie is between Buddy, Baby, and Bats when they're talking about their lucky songs and what songs made Buddy and Baby the best they could possibly be behind the wheel. And finally, this last similarity was the most striking to me and something I didn't catch until the second viewing. And it's that not only will these two men be willing to kill and do anything for the women they loved, but if anything were to happen to the women they love, they would both boil up with enough hatred to go take out an army. This sunk in for me in two particular scenes. Number one, at the very end of the shootout with Doc's contacts, when Buddy rushes over to Bats, almost punches him and says, "You got my wife shot." And then the scene in the diner when Bats is going to shoot Deborah, and Baby gets up and grabs onto the gun and won't let go. Both of these men had the same murderous look in their eye and the same attitude towards Bats when either their loved one was hurt or when they were threatened to be hurt. What all of this comes down to is that when I look at Buddy, I don't just see a phenomenal character in a phenomenal film. When Buddy and Baby sit down together, I see two perceptions of one character. When I look at Buddy, I see what could have happened to Baby if Deborah had died. And that's my character analysis of Buddy from Baby Driver. But with anything, be it character analysis or talking about movies, it is what you guys say that matters. So what did you think of this character analysis video? And more importantly, who is your favorite character from Baby Driver and why? Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. And as always, if you like what you've heard here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.